Yo, welcome back. You guys couldn't hear it, but Ben has this baby and he was just orchestrating us in. It was a perfect send-in for week 13. Welcome back, guys. Cashing Points live stream. We are coming a little bit late, so we got 11 games to get to. I would ask you guys how you're doing. I honestly don't care, so let's just get straight to the games here. Bucks, Falcons. Bucks are 10.5-point favorites. Over under is 50.5. Really, the only injury note here is AB is often doing weird shit again. We don't need to get into that. So he's going to be out. He was supposed to be out at least 2 weeks with this ankle thing he's dealing with. Now he's going to be out an additional 3. Who cares? Bucks defense is getting healthier, though. Their cornerback Carlton Davis should be back. They got Sean Murphy Bunting back last week. So at least they're going to have some corners after Richard Sherman has missed, now 3-4 games, something like that. So anyway, Bucks are just huge favorites. They're going to roll here. Falcons are just completely dead. They have no weapons outside of Patterson and Pitts. We got the same layout we've had now for however many weeks with Evans and Godwin and Gronk being super condensed. And I think once again, we're going to see Brady stacks end up being the chalk here.
I don't know about that.
Really?
I think Lenny's the chalk, and I think it makes all the sense in the world. Buccaneers are favored by 10 points. They should be. I loved Fournette last week as a contrarian play. 5 weeks before that, I said it wouldn't surprise me if he has top 6 fantasy running back potential. And he's really living up to that. He's basically Jonathan Taylor in games that the team has won. And this is a game that they should win easily. But of course, there's still the narrative Johnny talked about earlier in the season where, hey, if Tom Brady wants to just win MVP, break all the records, he could do that. And it's just does he want to selfishly hog all of the touchdowns or not?
I don't know. I think he knows he can't get the touchdown record anymore.
You can't get there now.
Well, I mean, he's going to play for 8 more years. So, but yeah. So he's going to be super chalky. It was awesome last week to get him at contrarian ownership. But that's a real question you have to ask yourself, small field tournaments. Do you want to go the Brady route? Do you want to go the Fournette route? Gronk is still easily one of the best tight end values on the slate. He was easily the number 1 value last week. Wes likes Chris Godwin's matchup significantly more than Mike Evans, looking into the coverage cell schemes. And then on the opposite side, it's Atlanta only has 2 fantasy eligible relevant players, and one of them gets double covered every single game.
Do they? I don't think Kyle Pitts is even relevant anymore, man.
He's relevant in the sense that he gets double covered every single play.
Yeah. I mean, it's not his fault. We talked about this on Tuesday, but I mean, they just have nothing. They have no juice. It's just so easy to take out Pitts.
Yep.
So it's jokingly, you have to play Patterson if you play Brady.
No, I don't think you have to. I mean, you want them to show up though. I don't think you have to, but I probably would. In a smaller field, I think you can totally just play Brady and 2 pass catchers, or I think with the role that Fournette has now where Gio is just gone, I think in if you're playing the Thunderdome, I think you're fine to play Brady and Fournette in something like that.
Yeah.
With how much do we like him? Because that was non-hyperbolic when I said he is Jonathan Taylor in games Tampa Bay wins. And then you've also seen this recent influx of passing game usage, including in losses where he was at 66% of the snaps. So he is a very close to a true bell cow to me. And he's been awesome. The offense is going to stomp.
No, I think he is a true bell cow. I mean, since their bye, he's been on the field for 66% of the passing plays. I mean, that's peak Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler territories of usage, and no surprise, he's caught a ton of balls too. The one concern I would have though is they roll and we see Rojo late. But I mean, they got to score 2-3 touchdowns to get there, and Fournette should be a big part of that. Johnny, do you think Brady will be chalk, or do you think it'll be Fournette?
I think we're going to see a lot of teams play both.
Yeah.
Which I I think is fine in smaller fields. It's terrible in larger field tournaments. 1,000 people plus. I think you're making a big mistake there.
Right.
I think Brady will be popular, but I think quarterback's going to be a little spread out this week. I've heard a lot of talk of Lamar with Pittsburgh being a disaster. Justin Herbert's getting some talk. I mean, I think quarterback will be a little spread out. Brady will probably be the highest owned quarterback, but I don't think it'll be by much.
Yeah. I mean, it's just 7,200 on DK, QB4 over there. So yeah, that's kind of what was, I think people are going to just jump out on that.
I mean, I do think though, you want to have a Falcon on the other side to distinguish yourself in larger field tournaments. And yeah, I think Kyle Pitts, man, I don't know. I jokingly tweeted that, Zach Ertz is going to outscore him the rest of the year. And well, here we are.
That's looking fucking great. That's looking real good, dude. No, you're right. Real quick on the Bucs before we move on. I know Godwin has been way more productive. I know Mike Evans's involvement has been scattershot at best, 10, 4, 3, 11, 5 targets in their last 5 games, but he's not going to see a ton of AJ Terrell. Terrell stays on one side. He stays on the left side, and Evans only runs like 20% of his routes from Terrell's side of the field, and they're going to move Evans around. So if Godwin's going to end up being like 20% and Evans ends up being 8, that's massive leverage, obviously. And I think that's the way it's going to trend since Evans has really not done too much in the box score here as of late.
Do we have any updates on what was going on with the Godwin ankle? I mean, he has been, kind of dust the last 3 weeks with the ankle in terms of compared to what he was, when Brown got hurt earlier. I don't know. It just seems like he's had a dip.
Yeah, he had a great matchup against Washington, 57 yards. Great matchup against the Giants, 65 yards. Garbage matchup against the Colts, 24 yards. But he scored more fantasy points than Mike Evans, who had the far more favorable matchup. I don't really know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't have a good read on it either.
Both of them were hurt, somewhat hurt last week. I don't think either are on the injury report this week.
They are not. Yeah, Godwin is not, and Evans is not.
And it's like, because we know they're going to play. There just hasn't been really much chatter on the Godwin ankle. He was that game time decision, and he just has sort of been bad. So I don't know.
You know who hasn't been bad? Rob
Gronkowski.
He's been
Gronk looks
freaking awesome.
If you remove that game where he left, or not, he left early. It was the game he tried to come back from the ribs thing. If you remove that game, he is the tight end 1 in fantasy points per game and by a margin, like 1.5 points.
Yeah, and he's 5,300. So
yeah, but he's still underpriced.
Mm-hmm.
For his current
saying.
role.
5,300 is nothing.
Yeah. People aren't going to play him. People are like, oh, I'm not paying 5,300. He was 4K last week.
Yeah. He's a lot harder to get to on FanDuel. He's 7K. So he's got the Kelsey Waller treatment price already over there. But yeah. Yep. All right, let's move on here. Cardinals and the Bears. We got word about an hour ago that Andy Dalton will be the starter. Nick Foles is going to back him up, so Justin Fields will be inactive. Allen Robinson didn't practice all week. I kind of think we're going to see like A-Rob, and he should do this, honestly. We should see A-Rob do like the Kenny Golladay thing where he just like kind of just takes himself out. I think that's what we're turning towards at this point. He's not going to play. Cardinal side, I mean, obviously we know what we're waiting on, Kyler and Nuke. I would be shocked if Kyler